Look at that. It's Hollow Week. And coincidentally, that's what people used to call me growing up playing basketball. Hollow Week. Because of how scary I was on the basketball court. Yeah. Well, they would call me Hollow End Week. And that seems like something entirely different. But right now, it is Hollow Week, no longer a Hollow Weekend. And this is something I've been seeing highly debated online. Is Hollow Weekend the weekend before Halloween or after Halloween? And usually it's kind of obvious, right? But when Halloween falls on a Thursday this year, it's hard to decide, right? Because then the weekend, it is 2 days removed from Halloween. You can do Hollow Weekend, but what? It'd be November 2nd? That doesn't seem right. And I have casted my ballot. I voted, not in that election, but in the Hollow Weekend election, and I think that the weekend before Halloween this year is Hollow Weekend. So it's over. I feel like if you were to do it after this year, it would be almost like celebrating New Year's on like January 3rd. It's like it's over at that point, right? You've jumped the shark. And that's how I feel about Hollow Weekend this year. You know, we got it out of the way. You know, it's still attached. You still have the festivities and all, but it's over then. You know, by November, it feels wrong. I feel like there's a lot of holidays where you kind of just, it's for that day and then stop it. You can do stuff leading up to it, right? It's nice that it's on the 31st because you can spend all October as Halloween. But then that's it. All right? Show yourself out, please, because it ends after that day. It'd be weird, right? There's holidays, like I said, that mostly just end on the day they are. Like 4th of July, that one's kind of just, yep, I guess Cinco de Mayo, that falls into the same category. But Halloween as well. I think it's just that day, and then we're done. But then there's other holidays, they kind of bleed into other days, right? Ironically, I guess Thanksgiving bleeds into other days too, because you got leftovers, right? You don't just have boring ass turkey on that Thursday. You eat it for a whole nother week. And you pour gravy that's all gelatinous and viscous on top of that shit to try to make it at least a little more palatable. Because no one wants to eat chalk in food form turkey. And Christmas is the same way. I feel like, and this is, I know it could be a contentious topic here, I feel like Christmas could kind of bleed into the next few days. Because really, it's the music, right? It's the festivities of it all. I think it's because the smell of gingerbread lingers. I think that allows it to live beyond its expiration date, which is the 25th. Plus, no one does anything between the 25th and New Year's, the 1st. So that's why Christmas kind of gets a pass. And plus, Christmas is always that time when families are getting together, forced into each other's houses. And so then they sometimes, they got to have multiple Christmases. A lot of people do the Christmas Eve, Christmas combo, but I've heard the unorthodox 26th Christmas. And that's already, setting yourself up for failure. And I know I'm championing, this 25th to 1st Christmas movement, but it is weird. I have to admit, if I do hear that you're doing Christmas on like the 28th, I'll let it pass, but it is weird. All right, just know that I'm judging you. And the look on my face should reveal that. But yeah, I think Halloween weekend, it came, and I think it's gone. And now we all have Halloween to look forward to. And that's it, all right? And then put it away. Put those pumpkins away, you sucker. But with Halloween weekend passing, you got to see all the fun stuff, right, on social media. And to me, Halloween weekend is like another Valentine's Day, another National Boyfriend's Day. It's you finding out how many people are in relationships that you didn't know were in relationships. Because Jesus Christ, I know Halloween is scary, but I was jump scared this weekend. What the fuck was that, guys? I didn't know that many people were in relationships. What's going on? Why were they hiding them this whole time? Maybe they're trying to hide it and then kind of launch it on us for Halloween. Because then you can be like, oh, is that... Are you with them, or is that just like part of your costume, right? You got that at a party city, right? There's no way you're just walking around year round. Okay, that's fun. Interesting. But there were some good costumes this year, right? I saw a lot of Sally from Cars. I don't know why that made such a big thing this year, but I saw a lot of Sally from Cars. Then you got your classics, like bunnies. But they're not like any bunnies I've seen in the world. Yeah. It's not like any wild bunnies I've seen, not like any bunnies I've seen in people's houses, which, by the way, is what is up with that. That's kind of weird, right? To have bunnies as a pet. This is dangerous territory because I do know people with bunnies as pets, but I have to admit it's weird, right? Because a bunny, what is the appeal of a bunny? The fact that they hop, right? And when you have a pet bunny, you put that sucker in a cage. What are you doing? The whole reason you got it, it doesn't even get to do it like 99% of the time because you want to keep an eye on it. So then why get it, right? You got a bunny because it hops and then you just trap it. What is that? That's like getting a pet frog and snipping its legs off. What? It doesn't make sense. That's like buying a helicopter and then keeping it in a garage. Why'd you do it? It'll be cool, right? When people come over, they're like, can I see it? And you're like, yeah, it's right there. And you're like, wow. You ever take it outside? And you're like, yeah, sometimes. They're like, wow, how high does it get? Does it go pretty high? And you're like, yeah, I mean, it goes as high as they do. And they're like, oh, cool, cool. And you don't take it out that often? No, not often, no. A lot of dangerous things in the sky that might attack it. So I try not to take it outside. And they're like, oh, very nice, very nice. And how much was it? All right, enough questions. All right, I have the thing. You saw it. It's interesting and weird. I get to use it as an icebreaker when I'm in a social situation. Enough with the questions. All right. But I've never understood that. Why do people get bunnies as pets? Maybe it's because they are so popular, right? And they are very popular during Halloween because I saw a lot of those suckers on social media. So yes, creativity abounds on that thing. And so yeah, happy Halloween weekend. It's over now though. Stop it. That's all right. I see you. But Halloween's still coming up. That's the fun part, right? Because that's when all those little slimy petri dishes come ring your doorbell and then they say trick or treat. And then you got to give them candy. You know, last year I had these little kids. They came back and I know all of them were either the Minion, they were a Minion or Spider-Man. I remember one came back and was like, trick or treat. I was like, dude, you've already been here. He was like, you remembered? I'm like, yeah. I'm not your age. I now have long-term memory. I unlocked that. Your duplicitous behavior does not work on me, bucko. That's right. I can remember outside of a week ago. So that shit does not work on me. Get out of here. And then I also see another thing. This is something I've run into during Halloween, and I'll report back next weekend. But it's funny. I've gotten rejections. I don't just get rejected in real life. I get rejected on Halloween. I gave a kid, I think like a fucking Crunch Bar last year, which by the way, I like Crunch Bars a lot. So this is already me giving away a part of my heart. And this kid took it out of his bucket and said, do you have something better? I was like, yeah, I got something better. How about a fucking life lesson? How about sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. Sorry. Yeah, I'll go look at what else I have. God, give me that. But I did get rejected by a kid 3 times. I gave him something. He was like, I don't like that. I'm like, all right, so what do you want to do from here? What do we do now? I did the thing. Well, you did the thing. You rang the doorbell. You said your line. I gave you the thing. That was the end of our agreement. This isn't supposed to go beyond this. We did our part. We're done. We can go home now. Why are you making us stay here? This is bad for both of us. Because now I'm not going to have what you want. If you're picky about candy on Halloween, nothing will satisfy you. So now we're in a losing situation. What are you doing? We should just act like this never happened and go our separate ways. If we sit here and see this thing out, we're only going to both get more upset. You realize that, right? Except I won't, because I have emotional maturity and I realize this is crazy and it's just funny to me. Whereas you are going to throw a fit and probably bite your mom later because you didn't get a Jolly Rancher or some shit like that. But it's fun. Yes, I get to see all those little Minions and Spider-Man again, you know, because nothing's been more popular in the last year. That's the thing. The meta stays the same. It just seems like it changes because we change how old we are. The same, what are they called? Holy shit, costumes? I almost called them outfits. The same costumes exist for the same age ranges, but we grow up, so we think, oh yeah, no, they're changing. There's a different options now. It's like, no. There was a bunny before you, now you're just the bunny. There was a minion before you, now you're the minion. It's really the circle of life if you think about it. Halloween is very it's very deep. It has a lot of really interesting themes to it, right? It really teaches you about life. You go from a minion to a bunny to a parent waiting on the sidewalk apologizing for their kid. Sorry, sorry. I know he sucks. I got him. I get him most of the time. So you can understand why I have very pronounced crease lines on my forehead because I'm always pissed off because I live with that. I'm kidding. Most of the kids are great. Like that's the thing. 99% of them are very gracious and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to." I'm like, "No, you're doing your thing. You're good." But there are some, shits, little shits. They will be like, "No, I don't want that." I'm like, "I'm giving you a handout." And they're like, "Yeah, but I don't want that one." I'm like, "Well, I don't want to be here either." Okay, I usually get my evenings. You understand this is a work day, right? I did something from 8 to 5 that required time and attention and effort. And I have to do this. I have to sit next to my door and then wait for a ding dong. Hello. Oh, you look all so great. I haven't seen this before. As the same kid in a costume walks down past them. Yeah, no, I've never seen this one. This is good. This is good. We have a princess and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. This is awesome, guys. Really good work. Good job, parents. I don't know why I'm being such an asshole. It's cool. I like Halloween. It's dope. The ambiance is great, right? All the fucking decorations and shit. I love a good orange. I don't know what I'm so upset about. That's the thing. I have a podcast, so I have to just, you know, rip off these takes and throw them out there so that you guys will listen. Because that's the thing. I don't think it's bad to have a bunny as a pet, but I put that opinion out there just so I could talk about it. I don't believe it though. And I'm also kind of saying this so that no one listens to this, is a friend of mine, and then says, "Hey, you were talking shit about bunnies. I have a bunny." And I'd be like, "Oh shit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that." And they're like, "Yeah, but how do I believe that?" I'm like, "Yeah, you have no reason to." So this is also just insurance for me doing this little disclaimer. I think it's fine. It's weird. It is weird, but it's fine. See, then my apology doesn't work because I just. Sorry. I went to UPS this week, and I don't know why to do this. You know, a few months ago, I talked about how I went to UPS and they had these people tabling outside. They're still there. Haven't they gotten enough already? They're there all the time. They should just get the store next to them. They should buy that building, on the strip mall or whatever, buy that thing, and then just be like, "Hey, after you go to UPS, you have to come through here." They should make an agreement with UPS. Because the tabling, it's bad. They put them in the sun, and then you feel bad for them because you're like, "Oh, God damn it." I just went from my air-conditioned car to the air-conditioned UPS. I'm just passing through you in this blistering heat. The least I could do is just stop and talk to you, right? So I do. I did. I used to. But I've been getting better. See, I've developed this thing called, what do you call it? Self-respect. And so now I don't stop at those tables that are stationed outside of places I'm going to. I just give them, "Oh, sorry guys. No thanks." And I walk by. Because now I value my time. It's not that much time. But I've gotten to a point where I'm like, I know I'm not going to donate to them. Why play the little act out of like, "Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I'm good." And I knew that the whole time. So I don't do it. I think it's respectful for both of us, right? They have to ask. The least I could do is be upfront, right? I got to stop leading people on, whether it comes to tabling or dating. Says the guy that's never been on a date. See, I just made that up too. But I put that little dating tidbit out there to relate to my audience because you guys are probably dating. And then when I make a joke like that, they're like, "Oh, I relate to that." But you don't because I don't do that. So I'm lying. It's all fake. And see, even now I led you on. Damn it. I keep doing it. In every arena of my life, how do I keep doing this? But I went to UPS, and on the way in, I had no coverage. Usually you can have protection, right? There's usually a person in front of you, and then maybe they'll take the hit. They'll interact with the person, and they'll be like, "How are you doing, ma'am? How are you doing, sir?" And they go, "Oh, good." and I can just walk right behind them, right? We're a package deal. Same thing on the way out, preferably on the way out. It would be good if I use protection. I let someone go in front of me. Because then they take the hit. They like the human shield, and I can just, go right past them while they do that. But I wasn't so lucky this time, because on the way in, one of the gentlemen, there were two of them working that stand, he said, all I ask of you is just stop by our stand on the way out. And I said, yep, got you. I was like, damn it. That was a good line. Because it's non-committal, right? Even though it's like a textbook commitment I just made. But it's so casual that I had to give it to him. I was like, oh, all he's not asking for anything big. He's just like, stop by. See the place. Just have a coffee. It's very innocent, right? I'll go. I'll see it out. And then they get you. That's how they get you. Just stop by. It'll be quick. I've heard those words before. There's a friend of mine at my work. He's like my work best friend. And whenever we message each other, quick call, we know now it's drenched in like irony. Because our quick calls are like an hour, 20 minutes. Anytime we go in a quick call, the first 30 minutes are just not talking about work. It's like talking about work, but like other stuff, not the thing we need to call them for. And so that's what they do in the real world too, right? These tablers, they say, hey, let's just do a quick call. Like, damn it. You said it was going to be quick. How can I turn that down? I have a little bit of time, right? But I've gotten good. Like I said, I say no now. Taco Bell, they're like, you want to round up? You want to donate to some kids? I say no. I say no, thank you. In fact, yes. With Thanksgiving coming around the corner, it's good to remind yourself to be thankful for things. And that's what I'm thankful for. Saying no to donating at a Taco Bell, all right? I'm going to Taco Bell. Why would you think I'm in a giving mood? I'm destroying my body. I don't have people's best interests in mind. I don't even have my own best interests in mind. Why would you ask me that? If I'm not treating me well by ingesting this food, what makes you think I want to treat anyone else good? All right? But I went in and I made the promise to the guy, and on the way out, I was hoping for some protection, but there was none to be had. So I walked right up to the table and I said, as promised, I am here. And he said, well, sir, thank you so much for stopping by. And these guys are like in their 20s. They're like my age. And the first guy, the guy that did most of the talking, he was like, well, thank you so much for stopping by, sir. It is already commendable that you're here. I'm like, all right, fucking suck up, am I right? The glaze is crazy. No, I didn't say that because I'm a normal person. But he introduced himself. He introduced his partner. He was like, we just want to talk to you here. Just the fact that you stopped is amazing. I feel like just a little bit of your time can go a long way. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to get started. And I said, oh, I thought you had already started. And he said, I like you. You're funny. I was like, all right, let's thank you. But don't do that. You're going to make me want to like you too. Flattery goes a long way with me specifically. If you compliment me, I will never forget it. And I will like you forever, which is a lie. I made that up too. But it worked in this instance. Immediately, I was like, all right, I kind of like this guy. But again, I have self-respect these days. I didn't used to. So I knew I'm not going to pay. If they're going to ask me to pay, I'm saying no. Absolutely. So he did his whole spiel. Weird word. One's a Pokemon, one's probably like a body part, right? No, that's a spleen. But he did his whole spiel, and then he was like, now, can I show you this thing on my iPad? It'll take about 2 minutes, and then, you'll see if you want to help at the end. And I said, is it going to make me pay? He was like, yeah, it's a 75-cent donation. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. He was like, oh, but it's very easy, just 2 minutes. I was like, no, I got that part. I was like, is it going to make me pay at the end? He was like, well, yeah. Just $75. I mean, $75. Can you imagine? They should do that, though. They should ask for an obscene amount of money, and then they only need one win. It's rejection therapy already, right? It probably feels worse to get rejected 75 cents. Are you kidding me? I would just ask people for $75. You just need one cash cow at that point. Don't sell yourself short, right? Why would you spend all that time to get 10 people to say yes to 75 cents when you can just ask one person for $8 and probably get it? What are they doing? I'm sure. I'm sure one of those people did, right? But I know the mindset. Once you give a little, you think about giving a lot. Who's going to give 75 cents? That's ridiculous. That's why I gave nothing. But no, most people would be like, I'll give $5. And they're like, oh, thank you so much. Wow. Because once you get started, you do a little more. It's the same theory with like anything, right? One of the productivity hacks that I've seen is if you're struggling to do something, just promise yourself you'll do a little bit. If you want to read a book, just promise yourself read 2 pages. Because once you've read 2 pages, you're like, well, I'm already here, right? I'll read 5 pages. I've already read 5 pages. Maybe I'll read 10. It's the same mind, or what is it? Psychology behind food being out. You ever go to a place and there's food on the table, you're more likely to eat it. But if the food wasn't there, you wouldn't be like, I could use some food right now. But if it's in front of you, you'll do it. It's the same thing with task. You wash 1 plate, you'll probably wash 5 plates. You do 1 page of reading, you'll do 3 pages of reading. If you edit for 15 minutes, you'll probably edit for an hour. I'm already here. I'm on a roll. Let's keep it going. And that's what I think people do when they pay. They're like 75 cents. I mean, come on. If I'm going to give you that much, if I'm going to open that wallet, let me throw in a little more. But not me. See, I didn't even open the wallet. I closed that shit shut. I said, I'm not going to pay. I'm sorry, guys. You guys are great, but I'm not going to pay anything. He's like, all right. Well, thank you so much. All I asked, maybe you look at our website and turn around, and I took a picture of his back. And I'll go to that website in a couple months. When I find that picture, right, it'll pop up as a memory. I'll be like, oh yeah, let me check out what that is. Because when he was explaining everything, it was nice, right? But I wasn't listening to any of it, right? I already knew what my answer was going to be. So I was just doing the thing. I was doing what I was supposed to. I was doing the right thing. I was ignoring him. You can't blame me for that. So I took a picture of his back. And then I got thinking, I'm like, wait a minute. This is like a nature conservation thing that they're doing. Why are they outside of a UPS? I feel like people that ship stuff don't give a fuck about the environment, right? Because we're using all those like traveling of the package onto the truck, onto the plane. We don't give a fuck. You want to help the environment, shut the UPS down. Commit arson. Burn the shit down. It'll pay off way more than asking me for 75 cents. I do not endorse what I just said, by the way, for legal reasons, but you know what I'm saying. Be smart about it, right? Speaking of being smart, like I said last week, I hung out with a group of friends, picked them up, dropped them off at the airport. When I was at the airport, I went to the parking garage. I saw 2 Cybertrucks. And that was like only a couple rows into the parking lot. And that's enough, all right? They're getting too comfortable. They're just doing it right in front of us. It's unbelievable. See, when I go out on the street, I see Cybertrucks. I'm like, all right. But you attach the person to it, right? At least it's shameful, right? You get to look in there and be like, who is that? Who are you, huh? But when you're just at an airport, when you're out and you just leave that thing parked, that's now you're pushing it, all right? Because that's like a form of pollution. You're not even there. You're just leaving it there. You're forcing other people to look at that. That's not fair. You should have to be attached to it if you're going to leave it somewhere. If we have to go through eye pollution, right? You should have to like hold some of that shame. You shouldn't just get to proxy do this. He has such a way with words, doesn't he? But I don't like that. You're just doing that from a distance with no repercussions, no downsides. That's unfair. If you have a Cybertruck, you should be attached to it at all times. If not, it should be in a garage, cloistered away for no one to see. I don't like this. Leaving it out for everyone to see. Ugh. So that's enough. All right. Even one of them was wrapped in this like insurance company. I'm like, what are you doing? Why would you be an insurance company and have a Cybertruck? I know it looks like a billboard on 4 wheels. It's a nice flat surface. Probably better for wrapping. But I'm like, don't do that. Why would you... Someone pulls up to your insurance building and they see that in the parking lot. I would not buy insurance from that place. Red flags all over the place. That's ridiculous. You're just shooting yourself in the foot for so many reasons. Can you imagine being a kid and your parent works at an insurance place? and they drive a wrapped Cybertruck, I would never tell my parent to pick me up. I would be late to school every day if it meant that I didn't have to get driven in that thing. Because at least being a truant child would be better than getting bullied incessantly by my peers for being a child with a parent that has a wrapped Cybertruck. And I think that makes sense. So that's enough, all right? People are always calling for more regulations, and I agree. We need background checks on anyone buying a Cybertruck. And even more, I don't know what it's going to be, but you need to do a fucking physical. How about that? You have to pass the Cooper test, the Cooper's test with flying colors. If you're going to buy a Cybertruck, you have to be physically fit, all right? Because if you drive one of those things, you got to be ready to throw hands, all right? Because I'm sure someone wants to fight your ass. So pass the Cooper's test, do a background check, be an upstanding, fit citizen, or don't get in that thing, all right? Because it's enough. It's gone too far, and it's time we take a stand. For what we believe in, god damn it. Do you think there are guys that won't allow male singers on their sexy time playlist because they don't want another man in the room? Think about it. People have playlists, right? For when they're getting funky. When they're listening to jazz. Do you think there are some guys that are like, I don't want another guy in here? Obviously talking about straight guys probably here, right? What if they're like, I don't want another guy in here? No, I don't want Usher on our playlist. What the fuck? Is that NSYNC? No, absolutely not. I will. Boy bands would have them in shambles. They wouldn't even be able to look at their friends the next day. They're like, hey, how was last night? You know, I think you and the missus were going out. And then how'd the night end? Was it good? And he's like, I don't want to talk about it. And they're like, why? Didn't everything go as planned? You're like, no, I don't want to talk about it. My wife is cheating on me. They're like, oh my God, dude, really? And he's like, yeah. She let One Direction in on our fun time. Rip Liam Payne, by the way. But God damn it. But can you believe that? It's a ridiculous thought, but it has to be real, right? There is some guy out there where like his girlfriend, wife, whatever, fiance is like, oh, let's like put this song on the playlist. And he's like, oh, Pitbull. No, I just don't think it fits the vibe. She's like, really? You don't think International Love with Pitbull and Chris Brown would be good for our playlist? Oh, Chris Brown's on the song too. Okay. Yeah, no, that's I'm gonna have to veto that one. That is not gonna be in the room with us. And she's like, why do you make it sound like they're gonna be there? Well, they are. All right, that's enough. There's just so many bad examples I have, and I don't want to say any of them because they're bad. But that has to be a thing, right? With all, the infinite, what is it? The infinite possibility theory or whatever? I don't know what it is. I think that's what it's called. It's the whole idea that if you were to dry your laundry, that you could, in theory, open the door to your dryer, and one day everything would be neatly folded and stacked. Technically, that is possible due to the infinite possibility theory. There we go. See, there's a universe in which I said that right due to the infinite possibility theory. And due to that theory, there's also a dude that's insecure about playing Jason Derulo when he's, Imagine fuck it. See, there's so many examples I can think of. Babe, can we put on this new Tyga song? Oh yeah, for sure. Oh fuck, I fucked up the joke. God damn it. All right, let's act like it didn't happen. Oh babe, can we put on this new I can't fucking say it now. Hey babe, can we put on this new Doja Cat song? Oh, Freaky Deaky? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's got Tyga on it. What? No, that's okay. We're not doing that. Turn it off. Turn it off. How dare you? How long have you been cheating on me? What? Babe, been married for 17 years. How long? Damn it. This is ridiculous. Anyways, I think that's a good as time as any to probably cut this off. So make sure you like, make sure you comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. A lot of good support on the last episode. Thank you. It is noted. Keep that up, though. Keep liking, keep commenting, and I will talk. Oh, have a good Halloween, by the way. Yeah, it should be good, right? It's Thursday. It's like Friday Eve. What's not to love? All right. Well, I'll talk to you next week. Okay?